The reason I still love building boats is knowing the customer and knowing the end user and knowing how they're going to use the boat and building a boat for that need. Every one of our boats, we know the customer. We know they're still on the water. Even hull number one, we know, who has them, and we know the family behind it, and we know, it means a lot when you build a boat, knowing kind of how that boat's going to be used in the history of that boat. I grew up in Clearwater, Florida. Grew up on the water, fishing around boats. My dad owned a bait and tackle store in Clearwater Marina called the Bait House. I grew up there just dipping shrimp and catching bait and getting to know the local charter captains, and just grew up with a love for the water and fishing, and really a love for the people that made a living doing it. And I got to my senior year in high school, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do. My guidance counselor had me take a career placement test, which pointed my interest to math. I was decent at math and had a love for the water, and she told me about a field called ocean engineering. And I'd never heard of it, but I liked the sound of it. And I ended up pursuing that, and I went to a school called FIT, Florida Tech, and got a degree in ocean engineering. And during that time, my dad, my sophomore year, my dad had a boat built called an island hopper. Small company built it. They built boats one at a time. And I got to know the owner, Kevin, of that little company, and really watched how that boat came together. And he amazed me how much knowledge he knew about the whole process. And I wanted to be that guy. And that's when I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have a boat building company, and that's what I wanted to pursue from then on. When I got out of school, I knew I wanted to start a boat company, and I knew the theory behind boat building, but I didn't know any of the hands-on. So my plan was to go work for a company, a big boat company, and kind of learn the process, the assembly, the manufacturing side, the hands-on side, and then eventually start my own. And I had one of my thesis advisors, Charlie Morgan, and he pushed me right out of graduate school and said, hey, you need to do this now. You don't have commitments, you don't have a family, I'll help you through it, I've done it. And he's the one that kind of pushed me right out of school. He said, you have this commercial fishing boat and this island hopper, you can make money, which I was doing that in school anyway on the weekends. He said, you can make money and fund it and just start this thing up right now. So that's what I did. And I thought it was going to be easy. It was a quality boat. It looked good. It fit into the market well, but reality hit me pretty quick. We took it to several boat shows and a ton of interest, but people did not want to take a chance on this 25-year-old kid that had one boat in a company and had really done nothing else. So I was pretty discouraged. It took about a year. I was commercial fishing, and I really couldn't start hull number 2 till I sold hull number 1. And Turning Point was just a key customer God sent to me. And he ended up being just a great friend. He was a customer at the beginning and became a friend. He was in the market for a boat. And one day I was just sweeping the shop floors. We didn't have an entrance off of 19, and he wanted to go for a test ride. And I said, sure. I shut the shop door and took him out, and he loved it, and we built him many over the years. So just looking back on it, none of this would happen, or we wouldn't be around without those customers. The first 2 or 3 were just super key in us getting off the ground, us building, boats for them and for the future, and that helped us get everything moving in the right direction. So in 2000, things were progressing, and we were building about 1 boat a month, and that's all we did was new boats, the Young 20, And here I was by myself, putting rub rails on and putting hatches on, and the phone's ringing. So I knew that I needed to add some employees. So I met Dante, and she started working the office and handling that. And we had a second building. It could really work on 3 boats at a time at that time. And that was huge, getting us to the next level. Dante and I got married in 2005, and there was a lot of demand for our boat, and so we decided to build a bigger boat. We had a lot of customers with our 20 at this point, and we saw the need for a 24-footer, so we came out with a Young 24, and it was just a bigger version of our 20. It could still run shallow, it could still handle a chop, and it was a bigger, like our 20, it was a bigger boat in the market. So that really took us to the next level, having a second model, having something that these Young 20 owners could move into. And then 2009 hit, and everything came to a stop. The new boat sales just went really in a decline, and we went from building one every other week to building one every other month. And we knew we had to adapt. We had to change what we were doing to save our employees, so we got into repair and restoration, and we knew how to do it. We had the materials, we had the knowledge. It was hard work, but ultimately it helped us. Taking these boats apart that were 25, 30 years old, much older than our boats, and we could see what lasted, what stood the test of time. And kind of at that time, customers were bringing us these bare hulls. We were customizing them, putting our decks, our hatches, our components in them, and just making the boat what they wanted. And it hit us. Why wouldn't we just do that with our own boats and just make them customizable? So we came out with our Gulf Shore line, and we came out with a 20, a 22, and a 24, and that really took off. It appealed to the experienced angler, the charter captain, the hardcore fisherman, the guy that knew, where he wanted stuff and the type of fishing he did. He wanted the boat set up for that particular style, and that saved us. That whole other line of boats and really helped us in that time. So we built those boats over the next 10 years, really releasing a model every year or two. And then we got to 2015, and by this time we had almost been in business for 20 years. And we hadn't released a young boat in about a decade. And so we knew we needed to come out with something on the young line. So we came out with the Young 27, which really did unbelievable for us. It was a Swiss Army knife of a boat. I actually drew it up sitting in the hospital with one of my kids, and it checked a lot of boxes for the customer. And we had a 2.5-year backlog in no time. So the Young 27 was a great model for us. And by this time, 40, 50 customers that had our 27, and some of them were starting to go 100 miles out, and we knew we were pushing the limits with our 27. So we followed that up with a Young 34, a true offshore boat, something that the 27 customers could move into in the future after they outgrew their 27. We have a third line, our SaltRiver line, that we released this year. The first one being a 23-footer, and it's just another step in listening to the customer and building and delivering what they want and what they feel like that would work, and that is done well. We've come a long way, but today we have 4 buildings. We have separate departments for lamination, for assembly, for technical rigging. We have 4 or 5 people in the office every day. It's a family, it's a team, it's a group of people that know the goal. We have all the parts in place to continue to design and develop boats. They have proven, they stand the test of time, and we're just excited to continue to listen to the customer and develop and build boats that would fit the ever-evolving need of the modern fisherman. We know we're not done yet. We know we continue to push the limits, but we know at the heart of it all, Young Boats is a business, but it's more than a business. It's a calling. It's a business and a blessing that we just don't take for granted, and we just want to give God the glory for where He has us today and where He's leading us for the future.